Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's Friday, it's 5pm, and I've got to start with an apology to both you, Bradley, and to all of our listeners.
Yeah, go on.
I messed up the edit last week. Did you see what I did? Or hear what I did?
Are you talking about what where you left in where last week where I talked about Fierce? Are you talking about that?
No. Why? What was that one?
Oh, just that afterwards I said that I liked Fierce's design, but I didn't clock that it said retro on the front of it.
Oh no, I mean a mistake in the edit of the podcast, not the video.
Ah, no, sorry. Go on. What's the mistake?
Well, so firstly, we pronounced the name of our Niles Radel incorrectly. It's Radel, not Raddle, and he sent in the question. But more importantly, well, potentially more importantly, I forgot to actually insert his question. And instead, the listeners that listened within the first sort of hour, 2 hours of the podcast being live before I changed it, were treated to you and me just talking nonsense as we prepared ourselves to answer the question.
That's real. That's realness, Johnny. I like
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it really peeled back the lid in not the best way. There was a big swear from you as you tried to remember what the question was. There was me summing it up slightly flippantly, and then a little bit of planning of what we were going to say, and then we just launched into it.
At least we didn't say, "Oh God, this Raddle guy again."
This Raddle guy.
He's always rattling our cages with his great questions and witty banter.
That's the last time we can make that joke now because it's Radel.
I know. That's why I thought I'd better get it in there. Radel. I like Radel too. Radel's good.
Yeah, so humble apologies to Niles and to all of our listeners that had the fourth wall unceremoniously bulldozed by that particular error. It won't happen. Oh, I was going to say it won't happen again. It probably will. It probably will happen again. Because I defy anyone else to have that hour-long conversation and then edit that hour-long conversation straight afterwards.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers. To be honest, the phone in question is probably a little bit too much, isn't it? I reckon maybe next time we just read it out. And then we're able to.
But I like hearing. I like people to hear the listeners' voices.
Agreed. It is nice. It's a nice thing.
We'll see. I mean, maybe we'll just leave it up to chance. If they get edited in, they get edited in. If they don't, I'll just leave it next time. So yeah, I've done lots of beery things this week. Have you?
Well, we've done a fair bit together, beer wise. Certainly,
we did do a big old shoot.
Yeah, we'd done a big sheet day yesterday. I was pretty broken after. I was very tired, although I didn't sleep very well the night before. But
well,
yeah,
I mean, if you have a bad night's sleep and then you drink from about 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., that probably is going to make you quite tired, yeah.
I sort of passed out when I got home, and then I woke up incredibly hungry. But I sort of couldn't decide if I wanted to cook. I didn't really have anything in the house. And then I couldn't really get motivated to go out. But then I remembered I had some bolognese sauce. So I whipped up a little feast for myself at about 11 p.m, which is far too late to be eating.
11 p.m?
It was pretty
late.
late.
Really did crash out.
Yeah, pretty crashed out.
Wow.
I was quite crashed.
Because, I left at 3:15. So you've had yourself a full night's sleep.
Yeah, pretty well. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that long, but I was out for a few hours and I ate very late. I was just procrastinating, Johnny. What to do. Quite limited here in Catford in terms of takeaways. So
you've got a Greg's like 5 minutes walk from your house, mate. It's more than I've got.
Not at 11 or 10 at night or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. So we had a big shoot day down at the Beer Merchant's Tap again. We drank some very hypey stuff. Did a hype train with Russian River. We did a very serious think piece about terroir. Using some Allagash and some other exciting stuff. And what was the other video we shot? Oh, what is West Coast Pilsner? Because that's next week's video.
That's exciting.
So yeah, that one's coming out next week. And again, people have started noticing that we've been trying to be a little bit more succinct in our videos. And that one's going to be under 20 minutes as well.
I saw a comment was like, use the algorithm to your advantage. You've come under 15 minutes again or something.
Yeah.
Someone's written. So yeah.
We'll see how short we can make it.
Snappier.
And if it's not short enough, I'll just increase the speed that the video plays by 1.5.
Nice.
Like speed red craft beer channel stuff. So you can't do that on YouTube yet, can you? But you can do it on like podcasts and stuff. You can speed them up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think you can. It's probably the way they're compressed or something. I have no idea why that would be. I would have thought.
I guess just speeding up video is a little bit weirder than speeding up audio. Suddenly,
don't you watch all your films at double speed? Because you haven't got much time these days.
I haven't got much time.
Lord of the Rings, you can watch one of those in 1.5 hours instead of 3. Just take some of
it down to a normal length of film.
Yeah, take some of the majesty out of it, but it's a 90-minute banger.
Yeah, but the battles are pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's well.
And the ends move at normal speed.
Are you watching Shogun, Johnny? Talking of impressive battles.
I think I watched maybe 2 episodes, and
it's beautiful.
I mean, it's beautifully shot. Yeah, I haven't seen any battles as yet.
There's not as such battles at this point, but there are lots. There are brief moments of ultra violence, which are like quite sort of tasteful, I guess. They're very only very minimal,
tasteful
but like
violence.
Lots of like, well, not lots. A few like bloody hell, that was a bit full on, and then back to beautiful, serene Japanese, kind of rolling undulatingness, and like formal honor and order and all this sort of stuff. Very good. I'm enjoying it a lot. Well, it's up there for me with Masters of the Air this year. But both probably my favourite things I've been watching.
I have watched the start of both of these and not finished them.
Oh, Mark, you are in for a treat, Masters of the Air, man.
Essentially my motto. I've started it and I probably won't finish it.
Now, what do you think of the theme tune? I don't want to digress too much. Theme tune, Masters of the Air. What do you think of it?
I couldn't even begin to remember it.
Johnny, it's soaring. It's literally, it's like, it's amazing. It's amazing. I can't remember, Blake Lively or something. The person's name is. No, maybe that's
don't think it was Blake Lively.
No, it's not Blake Lively. That's a comedian, isn't it, or something?
No, it's she's an actress and the wife of my fashion icon.
Not Blake Lively.
What's his name?
Oh yeah, your pal who you get. Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah,
the one who owns the football club.
Yeah, he owns the football club.
Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds. There we go.
Yeah. No,
I've even got literally right now. I've got a Ryan Reynolds inspired cardigan my wife bought me.
Does it? How is it Ryan Reynolds inspired?
He wears the fuck out of a cardigan, mate. You go on Pinterest. You put cardigan Ryan Reynolds in, and you'll see a man owning a cardigan.
Great, sounds excellent. I like a good cardigan these days. I've really
we're getting to that age, aren't we?
Yeah.
Where any room we're in is always a degree or two lower than we want it to be.
What name did I just say? Blake Lively.
Yeah,
that's pretty close. It's Blake Neely.
Sounds
a lot like Blake Lively.
It does. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Blake Neely.
Great, I mean, you were very wrong, but also not very wrong.
Yeah. But like really an amazing score. And has done like I think being involved with Zimmer and stuff on other projects like like not Saving Private Ryan, but Greyhound, which wasn't very good, but it's another Tom Hanks kind of war thing. Anyway, let's move on from that, Johnny, because I always hijack.
How long
with,
ago is it that you said you
stuff.
didn't want to derailers?
Oh, a while ago.
A while ago now.
Yeah. A while
Should we do some beer news?
Let's do
wait.
news.
I haven't talked about the other beery thing I did this week.
Oh, go on then.
I went to the pub.
You went to the pub without me.
Is
an outrage.
It's literal news in my life. On Tuesday, I went to the Queen's Head in King's Cross. If you're ever in that area and you're desperate for a pint, it is the best place to go.
Nice.
And I had some great... what did I have? I had some Siren, some Two Flints, but I had 3 pints of Burning Sky Plateau. And not only was it tasting magnificent, Plateau is actually, I think, probably my favourite session beer in the world at 3. I think it's 3 and 3.4. I woke up without a hangover as a result. 3.5% beer, it's the future. No wonder they put the tax bracket there.
5 pints, was it? Did you have?
I did,
3 of them were sessionable.
None of them were over 4.5.
Nice.
And I tell you what, that makes a big old difference. And the reason I brought that up is to feed into your news story you've picked out, Bradley.
Well, I was going to say, it does lead on to my news story, that England and Scotland fans have been warned German beer is stronger than UK beer ahead of the Euro 2024 football sport ball matches that are taking
Sounded
place
like a
soon.
really natural newsreader there.
Yeah. The sports ball, which is going on apparently in Germany this year. I didn't even know that. In June, apparently.
Yeah, a little way off. They're putting out the warning quite early, aren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe they're encouraging English and Scottish fans to start drinking more alcoholic beer in preparation.
Well, I think that's what they're saying. They're saying those are some rookie numbers, guys. You need to bulk up on your continental lagers.
Yeah.
So apparently the average strength of lager and ale in the UK is around 4.4%, according to DrinkAware. But beers in Germany are often 4.7, so 5.4, Johnny. So,
What? How have they picked? I mean, that's just not true. Why have
no,
they...
it's not true.
Why is that the ABV range they've picked? 4.7 to...
They've probably gone Stella. Actually, Stella's 5, isn't it?
Not
Stella's
anymore, I don't
probably
think.
5. Oh, has it gone down? Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's probably stuff that the lads drink, isn't it? Madre, Stella.
But those aren't German beers, and they wouldn't really be served in Germany.
They might be drinking over here. There aren't many... Well, actually, I'm not going to say football. Actually, I'm going to leave it alone because I don't know anything about football. But I thought that was quite interesting that they've been told... Why would you need to be told that the beer is stronger over there? We all know they've got great beer, Johnny.
Well, not everybody knows that, and I don't think everybody knows that... your average Munich Helles probably is 5. It's just weird that the government has gone there... Or is it The Sun or whoever's written the story that says it's between 4.7 and 5 point...
It's in The Independent.
It's in The Independent saying that.
Yeah.
Well, because I found one on TalkSport and one on The Sun in which they use the same same ABV range. So I'm assuming that's official guidance.
Yeah, it's DrinkAware.
Beers in Germany are often between 4.7 and 5.4. It's just... You could say that of every nation on Earth.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
That's true.
And then it says...
DrinkAware.
Says... Oh, is that DrinkAware?
Yeah.
I don't know. But then it says, although many may be considerably stronger, up to 16% ABV. Again, anywhere in the world that has a craft beer industry will also have that. If we're going to give alcoholic advice, government, let's do something that's actually helpful. I could see 4.4% being the average strength of British what's drunk in Britain. But in Germany, why is there a wider range, and why are you saying there's 16% beer? It's just deeply unhelpful. Just say, most German lagers are about 5%. The Pilsners and the Helles are probably about 5%, and leave it there.
Yeah,
and that's enough for people to know that you will be 25%. No, wait, 20%. Well, not even that. 15% more drunk in Germany than you would be in the UK on the same pints.
True that. I watched a very interesting YouTube video yesterday about the etymology of why England is called England, why Wales is called Wales, while Scotland's called Scotland, why Ireland or Air is called Air, and how far back that goes. Very interesting, Johnny. It's land of the Angles essentially. So the Anglo-Saxons. That's kind of what we're known around the world, pretty much everywhere around the world. We're in every other language.
Yeah, Angleterre and all that.
Angleterre, all the rest of it. Apart from the Irish word is something derived from Saxony.
So just like those bastards over the sea.
Yeah, because like there were Angles and Saxons at the same time, so they call us a word derived from Sassany. I think it's Sassony, something like that. Yeah, and the name Wales, that is an old Middle German word, I believe, that means to speak like foreign, like a different language. So it's like in lots of other countries that speak German, they call their other parts of the country they live in, like so say Switzerland, where some of them speak German, they call the bits that speak French Welshland, apparently, and they call them Welsh, spelt in a sort of more Germanic way. But
where are we? What are we doing? What's the link here? Why
England fans? And then it took me on to the etymology of the word England. So anyone interested in this sort of... There's no real link, Johnny. Just I found it fascinating. I really like this guy called Rob Words on the YouTubes. He's got a very interesting channel where he kind of looks at where words derive from, which I think is really interesting.
Right.
So go check it out.
I'd like a YouTube channel on where your ideas derive from. This summer, I'm going to be hosting talks at the Manchester, Bristol and London craft beer festivals, giving festival goers the chance to attend tutored tastings, rare beer pours, meet the brewers and even guided tours of the bars. These 3 festivals are the highlights of my events calendar, featuring some of the world's best breweries with delicious restaurant pop-ups, great music and a really welcoming party atmosphere. It's the 3rd year I've been hosting the We Are Beer Tastings table, but for the first time I'm delighted to offer all of our listeners, viewers and Patreons £5 off a ticket when you use the code CBC5. Just hit the link in the description to buy. See you there.
Well, I thought I'd bring a little bit more highbrow rather than lowbrow this time.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, I've got something highbrow for you.
Go on.
Well, I mean, I thought it was lowbrow, but once I clicked on it, it's actually quite highbrow. So, the news that I found this week, the title is "Scientists." It's a good start. Turn to AI to make beer taste even better, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go." It feels like even when it's a legitimately interesting study, journalists still have to water it down to the state of, I don't know, Carlsberg, and just make it as dull as possible. But the actual article is absolutely fascinating. So this team in Belgium published a paper in Nature, no small academic journal, in which they'd analysed the makeup of 250 Belgian beers across 22 different styles, including lagers, fruit beers, blondes, West Flanders, Flanders Reds, and some non-alcoholic beers. And they got a panel of 16 people to score them each on their, like, not on quality, but like on strength of flavour, so like hop flavour, sweetness, acidity, all this kind of stuff. And then they also took 180,000 reviews from Rate Beer, pulled that with their data, and then had a look to see if they could improve beers. So they'd use that data. AI took a look at it and go, hey, this beer might be more popular if we upped its sweetness or whatever it is. And so they then sort of spiked these beers with different chemicals, including things like lactic acid, like if the pH was wrong, or glycerol, which... interestingly enough, actually, Planet Beer TV just did a great feature on Daya in which they talk about glycerol for quite a bit, because Daya's house yeast produces lots of it, and it makes a lovely, nice, soft, oily, floral kind of feel to your beer. So they spiked all these beers and then did the tasting panel again, and they all scored better. So it's sort of a data-driven way to improving beer, which is, really interesting for certainly brewers brewing at scale, where like recipe tweaks are very expensive and could have all kinds of impacts. Maybe you could just, put a bit of glycerol or change the pH with a bit of lactic or something, and that from 180,000 different people telling you that. So that was really interesting and genuinely interesting. And the scientists also said that, this might not be useful for sort of craft brewers and stuff, and very much against their philosophy, but low alcohol beer, it could be really useful for, because, knowing exactly what's wrong with your beer and being able to add it could be really helpful for beers where you've got quite a long way to go to persuade people. So, glycerol would be a brilliant thing to add, because low ABV beers often lack kind of the body and the texture and that fullness, and glycerol is a great thing to do. So it was very interesting. But the other really interesting that they mentioned, which they wouldn't know would be controversial in the beer world, but I read it and was like, you're damn straight, was that, so I'll just read out, this is from The Guardian, it says, the researchers collected 180,000 reviews of different beers from the online consumer review platform Rate Beer, finding that while appreciation of the brews was biased by features such as price, meaning they differed from the tasting panel's ratings, the ratings and comments relating to other features such as bitterness, alcohol, sweetness, and malt aroma correlated well with those from the tasting panel. So that's really interesting to me, because what it meant was the people on Rate Beer were talking about, like, we're talking about and rating, like, the different levels of sweetness and stuff, similar to the people who are tasting it blind, but then giving it wildly inaccurate, like, critics ratings as a result of, price, accessibility, all that kind of stuff.
Fascinating, Johnny.
Absolutely fascinating. So it's just, what I'm trying to say is it backs up this idea that hype or price or scarcity can change the way that you feel about a beer, which is relevant to what, Bradley?
Well, our video from this week, our video in a few weeks, all sorts of videos. We're talking about that kind of stuff a lot lately.
We are. We do seem a little bit obsessed with hype at the moment. I'm not quite sure.
Well, and just perception and kind of like, relative rareness and like how all these things factor into, your kind of enjoyment of beer, along with environment and who you're with, and, if it's kind of nostalgic to you and all these kind of things.
I think perception's the right word for it, for what. It's certainly fascinating me at the moment. I've been, like, with writing my new book, I've spent a lot of time drinking beer that I would not have otherwise drunk. Like, I went to Anheuser-Busch's main brewery in St. Louis and drank fresh Budweiser and thought it was all right. If you'd have told me I was going to do that 5 years ago, I'd have probably laughed in your face. But yeah, perception is something that we seem to be very interested in, and trying to cut through the mythologies and the mysticism and all this kind of stuff of the beers that, to be fair, we have probably helped create mythology and mysticism around in the sort of the 10 years that we've been going. But this week's video was not one that we'd had any influence on. It was one that we'd never tasted before, and indeed I'd heard of, but not really given a second's thought to before we did that. I did that triple tasting video. And then, we pretty much went to Bruges because we were like, well, we can try this de Garre beer that everyone, somebody in the comments did try to tell us, de Garre. So you start with an H and then you go guttural, de Garre. So the double R is guttural, I guess. We went to the bar, which is down de Garre, and didn't really love the beer. We thought it was all right, but we just had some very tasty de la Seine at the place we were at before, and we had a very terrible Carapils very shortly afterwards. Lots of people enjoyed your Splat comment, and I got to tell them that you don't even remember saying that because we'd just been to de Garre.
Yeah, pretty much. It was great. I mean, what a trip, man. I think that's such a great beer destination. Like, just going into the Du Valerium, whatever the hell it's called, in that square, and looking out.
Oh, the weird... Yeah, it's a museum with a bar in it, yeah.
That balcony is incredible, looking out.
Yeah, it was too hot, though. We had to go inside in the end, because that was midsummer.
32 degrees or something, I think, that day. It was pretty bloody warm, to say the least. I thought the Carapils for €1 while we ate... What did we eat? It was something random, wasn't it? It was like a... What was it we ate? From the stall, same stall. Was it a hot dog or something?
It's chips, mate. It's in the video.
Chips! Oh, yeah, of course it is. Can't remember, Johnny. Can't remember. The chips and carapils, that's quite a little beer memory, even though I didn't remember it. But
I was going to say, is it a beer memory if you don't remember and have to watch a video? I was just going to say, what would the British government say if the Euros were in Belgium?
If the Euros were in Belgium,
because the beer is like 8, 9, 10. They'd be like the average strength of the beer is anything from 4 to 12% with some beer.
I don't think we'd ever be allowed to have a major football tournament.
They just ban the English straight up.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't play in this one because you can't be trusted.
No, I don't think we could. No way.
No, I don't think we could. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, so this week's video was about... I'm just going to say Garre, which is supposedly the best triple in the world. It's the one that is rated third on Untapped throughout the world. So that's the top Belgian and only second to 2 that have sort of adjuncts and barrel aging and all kinds of... I'm sure delicious, but absolute nonsense going on. And we, in the bar, we didn't love it. We thought it was a good beer. We thought it was a bit boozy, but we quite enjoyed it. Certainly not anything that would challenge for the top of the blind taste test. But then I think in the brew shed, and I don't know whether this quite came across in the video, we enjoyed the beer. I feel like we maybe got something a bit wrong. Like people thought we were shitting on it, and it was good. No.
We said it was better than the Castile that we also drank. Right?
Well, yeah, but then I also thought the Castile was tasting awful, and I have to reevaluate my whole blind test and indeed the notion of blind taste test because I didn't really enjoy that Castile, but I did really enjoy the Garre, but I didn't enjoy either of them anywhere near as much as the Westmalle, the St Bernardus, the Straffer Hendrik, or indeed the beer I had at the weekend, which was the Allagash Triple.
Damn.
Which was
you told me about this. Sounded
brilliant.
Amazing.
Absolutely loved it. Carried quite a lot of the Allagash wit kind of vanilla banana cream character, but then was also had nice savoury notes and was really very dry in the Westmalle kind of character. It was a really good beer.
Sounds special. Did they have that at Beer Merchant's Tap? I should have picked one of those up.
You should have picked up a bottle. Yeah, they did.
Damn.
I think I bought 2 bottles, so I might have one I can share with you, or I might drink it before I next see you.
I got a couple of giant cans of Allagash White, and then I didn't put them on the company card. I pulled the wrong card out of my wallet. I put them on my own card. Yeah, but they are the biggest cans. I was asking the lovely person behind the bar about if they had any smaller cans, and they'd totally run out of the small. All of the other size cans. These were huge cans, Johnny.
They're pint cans, right? They're 20 ounces.
But I think they're definitely the biggest cans I've ever seen. That sounded wrong. Oh God,
it's not. I've got a photo of you on our way back from our Budweiser trip. It's a photo of you with a litre can of Pilsner Urquell.
I've seen Pilsner Urquell in a can. I've seen Viking Lager, I think it's called, and that comes in a fucking massive one. Obviously, you get Oktoberfest beers sometimes in gigantic cans.
Maybe 2. No, not 2 litres. That's like 2 pint cans in the UK.
Out in the world, it was the biggest can I've seen of something that I'd actually want to drink. I was a bit blown away by it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, pint.
Well, maybe Allagash Wit will eventually come out in the Stein-sized can.
Damn,
mass
imagine that.
Can, I should say.
Wow.
What did you having watched the Garre video back? Do you think we were fair? Do you think we were right? Do you think it's all hype?
It's definitely not all hype. I think, firstly, I'd like to say that I was backed up by Jasper that there was very loud classical music at a certain point in the evening in the Garre.
Right, did it turn on at some point?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wasn't going mad. It was there. So I was backed up by a local. And what else would I like to say? I think I kind of was a bit more down on it than I should have been. I think it was a cool place. I think the problem was we were just too overheated, and we'd had a long day. We'd also drank some excellent beer elsewhere just before we got there. So it was tempered a little bit by the experiences we'd had before, our tiredness level.
And we did have lots of people in the comments saying, like, it's a beautiful bar, if it's raining outside. Like, it's like a winter bar, whereas, like I said, it was 32 degrees, and we just come from the Duval balcony on the square.
Exactly.
And then a beer garden where we were drinking a Saison from Delacenne. And
exactly. We've gone from being on top of the world. Literally, we could see everything. Our vista out of that balcony. Like, really amazing architecture in there as well. Like, it's an old church or something, isn't it? A cathedral. It's like incredible looking. Vaulted ceilings.
Town hall, maybe.
Yeah, incredible vaulted ceilings, all sorts of stuff. So we've gone from that, and then that beer garden we were in was also beautiful. Like, lovely tree cover. Tree cover in a beer garden, I think, is underrated. Had like lots of dappled light and a breeze going through that courtyard. It was very nicely. It was like a sort of town planning and kind of courtyardish sort of stuff you get when you go to Barcelona or something like that. That's very warm, and they make these areas for people to be outside, which are very pleasant when it's hot. And it was like that. I can't remember what that place was called, but that was
it was the old that kind of concept comes from Munich, where you'd have the beer garden was invented with trees and dappled light, because that kept the ground cold, which is because the cellars were underneath. But it then became the place that everybody would want to drink. So it's
fantastic.
Taking inspiration from that.
Yeah, it was really great. And then, like you say, down a little alleyway, and then into like a tiny little venue that was maybe a bit too hot. I don't remember it being too hot, but I reckon it was probably just a bit of a downgrade, wasn't it?
It was sort of early evening by the time we went, so it cooled down. But I think we weren't in the cozy wood panelled white tablecloth Belgian bar mood. We were in the carapils on the square with a plate of chips mood.
Yeah.
I've got a comment. I know you've got some hilarious ones. I've got some serious comments. I think maybe we'll dig into.
Yeah.
One of which is on this sort of this element of whether it was hype or not, or whether context is important. It comes from it's either Dave's 9492 or Dave S 9492. Don't know how many Daves are involved, but he says the Untapped stuff reminds me of a point that Michael Tronsmere makes. I don't know who that is, but he's about to be wise. He said a hard to find beer is always going to do well on Untapped, because even aside from the hype factor, the fact that you have to go to a specific bar in Bruges to get hold of it is going to boost its rating by filtering out the people who rate it 2 out of 5 because they're not really into Belgian beers. So there's an interesting thing, because we always talk about the hype element being like, you've got hold of this rare beer, you're not going to just give it 2 out of 5 and slam it. Forgetting the fact that also anybody that has tried to get hold of it and discovered this supposedly undiscovered gem, is somebody that's going to be into it, So they might not give it 5 out of 5. Like us, they might not think it's the best beer in the world. But if I had Untapped out when I was there, it would have been getting at least 3.75, probably 4. And now I've had it in bottle, probably a 4.25. It's a good beer. And that really helps. Helps your Untapped score, because you're filtering out the people that are just, having a sip of their friends, or just picked it up in a supermarket not knowing what it was and thought they'd try it, kind of thing, where you can get the really brutal reviews on these review websites.
Agreed.
So I thought that was a good point. And apparently there's a great article that came from, which I'm gonna have to dig out. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. The other comment is from another David H2323. Something about Davids and Degas. It's a long comment, but you're going to like the end of it, Brad. So David H says, a lot to digest here. The first is that definitely agreed it's not the best triple. There's an element of the Westphal factor that you're buying into an experience. Second is the cheese. There is so much good Belgian cheese. I was worried about that comment while I was editing, but I stand by it. The cheese you get in the pub suck, which David goes on to explain. That said cheese you often get is actually young Dutch Gouda, and is more of a palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
The third is linked to the fact that this cheese is often served with a pungent mustard, which may offset the sweetness of the beer. I'd like to say this is a conscious decision, but it's more likely Belgians just like punchy mustard.
I like the cheese, Johnny. I like the cheese.
It doesn't really taste of anything. It's just a texture.
No, but I think that's
dip it in the mustard.
Exactly. That's it, right? So like they've said, it's a bit of a palate cleanser. reset. You know, it resets you
until you dunk it in the mustard.
Until you dunk it in mustard and
then it's a palate wrecker.
Yeah. But I mean that kind of cheese I got a lot of time for when you have it with, you know, in Holland quite often they serve it like Gouda and stuff. They'll serve little Gouda cubes with celery salt, which I think is great. You just dip it in a little bit of celery salt. That tastes banging. They have like full grain mustard as well. They'll do that in Holland. I think it's great.
Why wouldn't you just have a flavourful cheese? Like, all these tourists that are coming to the lowlands are going to walk away thinking that their cheese is flavourless.
I don't think it's flavourless. I think, no, come on, it's not that bad. I think it's got its place. What's the brewery in Amsterdam that's got the ostrich? I can't remember what it's called. It's like a windmill. Tage, yeah. I went there, when was that? The end of last year, I believe. And their pub snacks are like a boiled egg or cheese. So you get like a boiled egg and have some celery salt with it and eat some cheese. Like quite bland, like you're saying, but I think somehow goes really well with beer. I don't know, I think it's good. I think it's good, Johnny. I'm sticking to it.
We're going to have to agree to disagree. I mean, my love of cheese is deep and nearly as intense as my love of beer.
Yeah, I don't think
it's like you're making me do a shot of Stella in between every beer I have in Belgium. It's just like, no, I don't want this plain nonsense. I'm here to have my palate wowed.
Good. More cheese for me next time then, Johnny.
More cheese for you. You'll be eating the weird little crispy things.
They were good.
I'm not finished with the comment. The fourth is clearly that the triple you missed is not de Garre, but Guten Carolus. So we'll have to try that one. But here we go. Most critically, the fifth. My partner would like that I put emphasis on this. Brad will be happy. Is that we have been to de Garre and they sometimes have doilies on the table.
Oh, come on. Mic drop. So I was right about the music and potentially about the doilies.
Potentially the doilies.
Wow. There you go.
So, yeah,
Fever dreams come real.
You had its number, yeah. Thank you very much for that comment, David. We learned a lot, and Brad and I fell out halfway through. It was perfect content. What are your comments, Brad?
I got a comment from Annika Rice. I'm not sure if that's
what?
Annika Rice. Yeah. So, I mean, Annika Rice looks
There's the face of Cask Ale right there.
She appears to be a man in his 40s with dark brown hair.
Okay.
So this is what Johnny, air quotes, nice peppery banana clove. Brad, these are our takes on the de Garre, Johnny, when we drank it in the Boudier. Yeah. So Johnny, nice peppery banana clove. Brad, way less mental smelling. These are the takes we need. That's from Annika Rice. They appreciated that.
You get both
exactly.
Both approaches to beer connoisseurism.
Yeah. I don't know if I call myself beer connoisseur-led, but yeah, certainly...
Of course you are. You're a leading beer expert, Bradley. I hope that's on your CV.
I know this. We fight this every time we meet, but yeah. But I like it. It sounds good. I think it was way less mental smelling. I remember it not being great.
Did you mean way less boozy?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what I meant, Johnny, at the time. I just say stuff sometimes, don't I? So way less mental smelling. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. It was more balanced, less spiky.
Yeah.
Less boozy.
Yeah.
And that could be the re-fermentation, the mellowing in bottle, which lots of people pointed out correctly. I would definitely recommend de Garre from the bottle over draft. But if it's winter, maybe go to the bar anyway, because it might be a better experience than we had. Any other comments?
Big time. I had the comment from Mr. Rougelot, who we read out all the time. So de Garre is Vin Diesel, Castile is Sylvester Stallone, and in the end, out of the sun comes Wes Mao as Clint Eastwood to kick both their asses.
Don't encourage him.
Come on.
Bradley.
I think out of those, Clint Eastwood is one of my absolute all-time heroes. Won't have a bad word said against him. Fantastic filmmaker, incredible cowboy in movies, just brilliant. Just a brilliant individual. Still going,
Great song
isn't
by
he?
Gorillaz.
Yeah, pretty good song. Although that sample in the song is basically they just wholesale rip that from, I can't remember what it is sampled, but
Yeah, but that's what a sample is. You wholesale rip it.
yeah, that's a bit beyond. If you go and like look into it, that one is like straight up like a whole other song essentially. It's not just like a little tiny sample; it's like a whole riff and everything. But
I mean, most rap tracks of the last decade have been exactly that. Like, here's a cool riff, I'll use it and rap over it and make millions. Actually, you probably don't because you have to give all the rights to the person.
You
took
have
it
to
from,
give a lot back. Yeah, for sure. When we have our rap metal phase, Johnny, we'll be sampling some wild stuff.
Rap metal.
Yeah, maybe rap metal. No,
I mean, I was about to say I think we'd be better off just doing straight rap, but I don't think that's true. I think we should just stay away from rap or music in general, possibly.
I don't know. You were nearly signed. I think you could do all right,
but not in that genre.
What? I mean, surely
I was not in a rap metal band. Do you know? Actually, I got a message from my old guitarist a couple of days ago saying he's uploading our back catalogue to Spotify. So I might soon be available on Spotify. Yeah.
Are you going to be shouting that out in every podcast rather than?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to listen back to it all before I do.
Okay, that's just going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the. You can go and listen to my music on Spotify every week. That's going to be good. Cool. So when you say back catalogue, what we in for? Like an album or singles or?
Well, we released 2 EPs, and I think he's going to put it all down as one release.
Wow,
like an album.
Cool. That is cool. What's the name of it so people can check it out when it comes
out?
I
don't know what he's going to put as the band name or as the album name. So I'll have to let people know once he lets me know.
Have you got like a Limp Bizkit sort of style name for your album?
What's a Limp Bizkit style name?
I'm trying to remember because they've got terrible album names, haven't they? That are sort of very odd. Isn't there something about a chocolate starfish or something?
Rings a vague bell, yeah.
Their album is called Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavoured Water, which is
it's nothing like that.
It's a terrifying concept in your mind, isn't it? Those two things put together, I don't like it. Anyway, so yeah, don't do that. I would come up with a less new metal name if that's my take, Johnny.
Noted, thanks.
So we can keep those new metal names for our band when we come out.
Yeah.
Because I think the kids like that horrible, crappy 90s new metal stuff at the minute. I think it's having a moment again.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's back, is it?
I think so. And I just thought it was the lowest sort of form of, we're going to get loads of people, aren't we, defending them now.
Well, I mean, I'm going to defend some of them. You hate my music taste, the heavier stuff I listen to. You've got no time for
what?
I was going to say like modern metal.
I like older stuff. Yeah. Modern metal. What's modern metal? What are we talking?
Well, so I played you Every Time I Die in the car. I think in Belgium.
Nah,
and you took a strong dislike to it.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm an Every Time We Die kind of guy.
Great band though. Anyway, we've gone off the plot again. So that was this week's video. Thank you very much for all the comments. We thought it was a really fun one, but hopefully had some serious points. And was also short to see if the algorithm would like it, and we'll wait and see. But yeah, just in case it didn't come across, like I watched it back and I was like, well, yeah, I can see why people think we're not being very nice about the beer, but the beer is really good. You know, in that blind taste test that I did, I would suspect it would have been up there. I don't think it would have been higher than St Bernardus, Westmalle, and Straffer Hendrick, but it would have been a point or two below, or possibly scoring roughly the same. And the Castile, I mean, I'm going to have to go back and taste Castile again because,
well,
clearly my palate was wrecked, and it was always going to be. I do take steps to, in between shoots when somebody else is pouring the beers, I generally try to go have a cracker or something and reset the palate a bit. But maybe by the time I got to the Castile, my palate was just gone.
We've got a very strong defence from at Big Stiff Willie, who said,
"Oh my God, what? Strong defence from a Big Stiff Willie?" Jesus.
Yeah. He said, "Castile, still elite mate," and the mate is an M with an 8.
Oh my God, so he means it.
Yeah, he's not messing around. And Tortap also said about you drinking the Garre. Straight from the bottle, the ABV must have caught up with Johnny. I think that was right at the end when we.
Oh, it's when I drank the
it.
Westmaller straight from the bottle, right at the end.
Yeah. Oh, that was the Westmaller, was it? I thought you went back to the Garre. Okay, I didn't even see you grab the Westmaller.
What? That was the whole gag. I was being hilarious.
It's too small on the screen, Johnny, to see that.
What screen are you watching?
I watched it on my 75 inch. No, I haven't got a 75-inch TV.
Do you know, funny story, going to peel back the lid for a second again. So usually what happens is I'll edit the video, I'll send a first version to Brad and say like, hey, what can we cut from this? What is it missing? What, editing stuff have I messed up? And this week we both missed such a glaring error in this video that luckily I caught when I was adding the like the cards and the end screen, and I clocked it. So I had cropped the video in a little bit. Just because it just showed a little bit too much sort of around us. So I cropped it in a little bit, and I'd used the wrong tool to crop it. So I had cropped it, but all I'd done is create a black space around the edge of the video rather than actually just zooming in.
Nice.
And I watched it back, and you watched it back, and we both fed back on it, and neither of us clocked that there was a giant black patch to the left and the bottom of the screen.
Damn. That's bad, isn't it?
So you can start to understand how I could also release a podcast in which somebody sends us a question for us to answer, but I don't actually put the question in. Probably getting a picture of the chaos that lies behind everything Craft Beer Channel puts out.
Indeed. The chaos is real.
Yeah.
One more comment, Johnny, from Forest Gravy 90. Best triple is 3 cans of Bud Light. There you go, buddy.
Nice. Nice gag.
I tell you what, I actually bought 4 cans of Budweiser this week. Do you know why I bought 4 cans of Budweiser, Johnny?
You were having a stroke.
You say that a lot lately. I hope I'm not having a stroke.
Some of your behaviour is...
I have high blood pressure, so I hope I don't have a stroke. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's because Sir Peter Blake, one of my favourite artists, has released a 4-pack of Bud with all of his artwork all over it.
Wow,
which is really cool.
That should have been in beer news at the start.
I know, but I just remembered. So I picked up a 4-pack in Tesco. They're only selling it in Tesco, and I was really sad because they did an event last Saturday, which I could have gone to because I was available, in Truman Brewery, Brick Lane, where I believe Peter Blake was there signing cans. I love this guy. I've got several Peter Blakes. I've got one from the 60s called Babe Rainbow, which hangs up in my living room with pride. And I've got Babe Rainbow is a legendary British female wrestler, and then she had a daughter called Bobby Rainbow. And the other Peter Blake I've got in my living room is Bobby Rainbow, who is the daughter of Babe Rainbow, and I think Brick Lane, I think might have been her dad. I can't remember who her dad is. They're all these invented 1960s wrestlers, basically, that he's sort of come up with. But they're very cool. Anyway, so he's a fantastic British artist, our kind of Andy Warhol, essentially, pop artist. And you can go and buy, I think they're about £4 for 4 cans of Peter Blake artwork on a can, which I would say...
What was like the inspiration behind that collaboration? I can't quite sort of see it in my head.
He's 90 odd, so I guess he's just raking it in now before he pops his clogs. I've met him a few times.
Can't take it with you, mate. Can't take it with you.
No, but he's got a family and stuff, so you can't blame him really. I'm sure he's cool. He'll like do this. I used to see him every year at this thing called Art Car Boot Sale in London, which used to be great. Now it's a bit crap. But I've bought like cheap. It's basically a day when you can go and meet like Tracy Emin, Gavin Turk, all these people show up at this art car boot fair, and you can buy like a Tracy Emin or whatever for like 50 quid off of her, you know, and all this sort of stuff. And it used to be amazing. Now it's not so good. It's all gone a bit sponsored by Vauxhall, and you have to pay like 20 quid to get in, and it's very sold out now. But it used
Capitalism
to be amazing.
will ruin anything, won't it?
Yeah. So I've met him and shook his hand, had a conversation with him and stuff. He's brilliant. But anyway, that was my only point, was like, it's pretty cool. They look great. And, you know, I love a can that looks great. So,
you can put it on our Insta. That's a cool thing.
Yeah. I should do. I just didn't want to give Budweiser too much.
Hey, I mean, our rule is if it's culturally significant, we can talk about these breweries unless they're on the blacklist.
Cool.
The blacklist. Which AB InBev is very much on the grey, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, I mean, that's all I had this week. Have you got anything of note?
Not really, Johnny. Just the videos we've got coming out in the next few weeks are going to be fantastic. We had such a great filming day yesterday. Such varied content as well coming up. But I think it's really some good stuff to look forward to.
Some good studio-based stuff, and we'll get travelling again, even if it's not outside of the UK later in the year. We've also, to those that were a bit perturbed by the fact that we didn't do a video with Baron as part of our 10th birthday celebration brews, we are brewing an IPA version of the pale ale we brewed with Jack from Baron. Well, Jack Baron. We're brewing an IPA version in mid-April.
Nice.
Which we will be filming that process and releasing. And I'm thinking maybe doing a live show with Jack when we release it, so people can taste the beer along with us. So we are going to throw some love that way. Nice.
Can we talk about our other live show we were talking about yesterday that we're probably going to do?
Oh no, I've got new news on that.
Okay.
So we'll update the folks at home later.
Yeah. Fair dues.
So yeah, just that one in the offing right now. But we do want to do more live shows. I know I always say this. We do enjoy them, but they take a bit more organisation than it sounds like they should, because obviously you're organising the diary of lots of disparate people and getting beer out to people. So anyway, there will be a live show, probably with Baron, probably mid-May, I guess.
Nice.
And maybe we'll try and squeeze one in before then as well. That's all we've got time for. Next week's video is what even is West Coast Pils.
Nice.
I'll tell you what it is. It's delicious. And I'm looking forward to digging into that one. So until then, have a lovely Easter break. And we'll see you on Wednesday at 4 p.m. for some delicious hoppy lager. Love and beer. Oh,
enjoy your Easter eggs. No, I was just going to say,
enjoy your Easter eggs.
I'd kind of forgot. I haven't got any Easter eggs at this point, Johnny. I need to buy myself an Easter egg. That's a sad situation, isn't it?
Well,
when you don't even get given Easter eggs anymore.
Just wait until the day after, and they'll all be cheap.
Oh, I know that. That's the oldest trick in the book. That's the takeaway from the. So do you know what, Johnny? Do they do Easter eggs in America? They do, don't they? Chocolate Easter eggs. They have those, right? Is that a cultural phenomenon in America?
No idea,
mate. I don't know whether it is. Can you got anyone from America in the comments? Can you reply and let us know if you do eat chocolate eggs at Easter time? And also, have you ever had a Cadbury's cream egg? Do they have those in America? Because those are an acquired taste, but I think they're quite a special thing. Although they're definitely smaller this year, Johnny. Anyway, I've hijacked Love and Beer.
I thought we were done, and here I am. Wondering whether Cadbury's eggs are acquired tastes or whether they
don't put any celery salt on your Cadbury's cream egg. Though,
no,
Johnny.
don't do that. I don't know how
crazy.
That could happen, but don't do it.
Don't do it.
Right. Yes. We'll see you on Wednesday at 4 p.m. At which point we might have actually finished this phone call with Brad. So until then, love and beer. Goodbye. So long. See you soon. Bye. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's craft beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the craft beer channel, and if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.